Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm of course your host, Tanks Blitz, and in today's video, we're back again with another comparison. This time we're going to be comparing two German Tier 6 tech tree tank destroyers, the Jg.Pz 4 and as well the Nashorn. Now these are both extremely deadly in their own respective elements. I've already done a video on the Jg.Pz, but I figured, you know what, let's do comparison as well to compare it to the brethren, the Nashorn. Now this is a good tank and as well bad tank for certain scenarios, so I'll be telling you everything you need to know about both of these vehicles in today's video, which one I do enjoy playing more, and as well which one do I think is a more effective tank destroyer in the current Tier 6 meta. So as always, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more like it, especially if you want to vote and decide on what comparison videos come out next on my channel, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below because I constantly post polls and other questions asking you guys what you want to see next come out in the channel, so make sure to smash that subscribe button down below and you'll be notified when I do post my polls. But getting straight into it, enough about that. We're going to be starting off with the Nashorn. Now, what is good about this vehicle and what is bad? Now, this was actually one of my favorite Tier 6 vehicles for a certain time period, and the reason for that being is because of the gun. You'll notice that it says gun 8.8, and that is the exact same type of gun you'd find on the Tiger. This gun not only has decent damage per shot at 220, but it's got great damage per minute, sitting at 2,500. The aiming time at 2.5 seconds is fantastic. The dispersion as well at 0.290 pretty much means that your aiming is to a T, and the best thing about this vehicle is the penetration. It's sitting at 203 millimeters base for a Tier 6 tank destroyer. That means that armor is no longer an issue with this vehicle, and I absolutely love this thing. It's quick, it's got good mobility on the traverse speed. Not only that, but the gun just rips apart the enemy opponents. It's got about the same reload as a CDC, and as well the same damage and the same penetration, and honestly, it's got about the same armor as an AMX CDC as well. And when you think that this is 2 tiers lower, it really does make for an extremely deadly Tier 6 tank destroyer. Not only that, but this vehicle has a lot of hit points going for it. For the average Tier 6 tank destroyer, they're normally sitting at around 900, 800, but this vehicle is sitting at 1,060. So what that means is you actually have a lot of hit points, and even though you have literally no armor, the nice thing about Tier 6 is that a lot of people really don't know what HE is, so you don't really have to worry too much about being slapped with those high explosive shells. You can see though, just that gun is fantastic on the aiming time here, and of course I'm going to be pushing quite aggressive right off into the battlefield, seeing if we can get some deadly shells. We got the Cromwell Berlin shoving its butt up. Now sadly it doesn't look like we can get a shot into him. I'm not going to you know what? Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to test my luck on that, but I'll just keep waiting here, enjoying the view. We've got that super quick reload as it is per single shot, which of course is fantastic. That's going to make this vehicle really deadly against any other Tier 5 opponents, especially when we are stuck in a Tier 5 battle. That Cromwell did hit us, but of course we're able to get a nice little snap right back into him, pretty much equaling out the damage we did receive. So again, we've got the Panzer right there, and we're going to try and snap another nice shell into him. Or you know what, we'll actually go for the Cromwell, because of course the Cromwell is a little bit of a deadlier vehicle to deal with, but put on our adrenaline, get a nice little snap right into the butt of that Panzer. Now we got a tank like the Tog in the back here. Let's get a nice snap into that Tog. Of course, we got that fantastic damage per minute. We're able to get 2 shots into that Tog for every shot he's getting into us, which again is great. That means that the damage per minute on this vehicle is through the roof when shooting at a big barn like that. We've also got the Excelsior off to the side here. See if we can get maybe a nice little snap right into that Excelsior. Of course we are. And let's see if we can get a couple more into him as well. And as you can see, this is where the vehicle really goes into its own element. The damage per shot is great. The penetration, unlike the Jg.Pz, where I'd really be, you know, not really getting at a lot of shells, the damage per shot with this vehicle is just through the roof, and for the penetration as well, you don't bounce shells, you know. Well, as I say that, I managed to bounce a shot on the ARL, but the nice thing is I'm literally going to push on this ARL, and even while it is a Tier 6 heavy tank, I can literally trade with this guy because I've got so much damage per minute, I'm not even worried. We're just going to shot trade for trade on him here, and he doesn't even have close to the damage per minute I have. Not only that, but we also literally can penetrate right through his frontal armor, no problem whatsoever. Now that is a bit of an issue. We did actually get hit by, it would seem, the Cromwell Berlin here, which definitely is a little bit of a downside for my armor there, but even with extremely weak armor, that first game there, as we pulled out in the Nashorn, was a perfect example of how the tank can be played in the correct battle. Now sadly you will notice there's been an issue with my Blitz account, as I have said before, where for some reason it doesn't show the battle results, so we got to go back into the replay and see what the battle results were. So there you go, that was 20 2,300 damage, almost even a mastery pulled out there, and we were able to come out with 56,000 credits. Now, of course, I've actually permanently enriched this tank. I do enjoy playing it that much. It really is a fantastic tier 6 tank destroyer. A lot of people don't really think of it as being deadly, but that gun has the same damage per minute as tier 8 medium tanks. In fact, more like tier 9 mediums. The penetration is through the roof for a tier 6 vehicle. It's able to penetrate literally everything without even having the premium. Even when you're going up against tier 7 opponents, the penetration is fantastic. So I absolutely love the Nashorn. But the Jg.Pz 4 as well is an extremely deadly vehicle, and it's not necessarily for the penetration, but it is for the damage per minute, because the DPM sitting on this tank is around the same as a tier 10 medium, sitting at 3,266. But there are a couple downsides. First of all, the hit points on this vehicle only sitting at 901. Definitely quite a bit worse than the Nashorn there. You're sitting at 160 hit points worth. That is an entire shot from a tier 6 medium. Not only do you have a lot less hit points, but you also, you gotta really get that gun firing at weak armored opponents, because the penetration on this tank is kind of like the stock 8.8 on a Panther 2. What that means is that you're sitting at like 140 millimeters of standard pen, and the premium I think is 190, which, it's gonna get through most tier 7 opponents, but the Nashorn doesn't have to load premium in the first place, and as well, it's a much more flexible tank in my personal opinion. But of course, we're gonna be playing the tank here. I kind of want to push it aggressive, but the issue with pushing this tank aggressive is that if the enemy team pushes all their vehicles over here, it's going to be kind of a death trap for me. So I'm going to stay back. We'll let that P43 do a bit of spotting. The P43 is a fantastic tier 6 vehicle. I actually enjoyed every bit of that vehicle when I did grind it, but there we go. Nice snap already into you. We've also got the Panzer 3 there. Nice little bounce as well through the frontal armor. And we're already sitting at 400 damage already for our account. That's a pretty nice amount. It's literally a 4-second reload for this tank. That is just crazy when you do think about the damage numbers that it is pulling out here. So there you go. Again, a nice little snap into that VK28. This guy probably thinks that he has the reload on us to get another shell out, and you know what? I'll give him credit. He did actually have the reload on us and the ability to get a shot into us, and we also got lit on fire there. Not necessarily a whole bunch of good going for us, but we're going to back up here. We're already sitting at around 900 damage, which of course is a very respectable amount. Let's see if we can, you know what? I don't really want to test my luck on that P43. We've got some heavy tanks pushing off to the enemy side over there as well, but that P43 I really think is going to start to get some nice deadly shots into us. So there you go. He did miss, which of course is fantastic for me, because if we can get that P43 stuck out in the open, that is where the gun is truly the deadliest. It's just going to rip apart that opponent like no tomorrow. So that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to rush with this P43 on Masad. We'll see if we can get out these super deadly shots. Ooh, that one did not go through, but you know what? That is no problem, because of course we're going to get another nice tap right into him here. Hopefully my P43 is going to get the shot out first, or not, but you know what? We got a nice bounce. One issue with that P is I will say it has absolutely terrible penetration per shot, and again, we're just really easily racking out that damage. While that P43 does about the same damage per shot as us, we're literally able to out-reload him by a couple seconds at that, and again, just racking up in those damage numbers here, just able to continue to pour out more damage every single shot. So you got that SU-100Y right there, and honestly, while the SU-100Y is a super deadly tier 6 tank destroyer, we've already tapped 3 shells into this guy, and we're not stopping anytime soon. Aim, 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 and fire. There you go, finishing off a full health SU-100Y in about, what was that, 10 seconds or so? That is the Jg.Pz 4 for you. It is a fantastic tier 6 vehicle as well. Let's see how much damage we did pull out. Once again, we got to go back to that replay and see how much we did. But literally, this is a super duper quick recording on both of these vehicles here. You can see 2,500 damage pulled out as well for the Jg.Pz. So we did very similar damage statistics for both of these vehicles, and you can definitely see their own little quirks. You know, I don't think the Nashorn would have done as good of a job in that specific scenario, because the Jg.Pz, the way I run it, is it's kind of like an E25, but way more aggressive. It actually has better frontal armor than an E25, quite kind of impressive when you do think about it being a tier lower, and when you've got that high damage per minute, you kind of want to just shove it into the enemy's face, like I did on that SU-100Y. I literally took out an entire full health tier 6 tank in a matter of 10 seconds, and that was without adrenaline on. With adrenaline, I probably could have done it in around 7 seconds. It's kind of crazy the damage per minute this tank has, but the ability to finish off a full health tank like that, the Nashorn really doesn't do. While this tank does have 2,500 damage per minute, and for tier 6 statistics, that's fantastic. Of course, for the Jg.Pz, that is nothing. You're shrugging it off with how much damage per minute you do have. So, as I said, I enjoy playing both of these tanks. I think they're really fun in their own respective attributes. And let me know which tank you guys like more in the comments down below. Of course, if you enjoyed today's video, and maybe I convinced one of you to try try out one of these tier 6 vehicles. Of course, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. But other than that, I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your day.